Okay.
Addressed to Lulu Bassett. Translated from Spanish. Written over newspaper clipping of
This is
1893
Sophia.
hurricane. We would rather stay dead. Why death has chosen us to come back to life, we don't know. But we are disgusted by its uncertain hand. We want answers. We demand punishment.
Ooh, yuck.
I'm with a trio. The Reaper, Warmbite, and the French Mother, that crooning old bone mason.
Oh, they talk about the bone mason?
Warmbite was working on a
Nice.
fire that would burn anything forever. Gravestones, poems, bodies. The Reaper's heart has changed.
This is a
Something about
lot
his
of
work
dialogue.
being unmade doesn't sit well with him. The bone mason is enraged too. Death sets her free while ignoring who she wants to bring back. We witnessed a death at Pitching
Weird.
Crematorium. A stain reeked of it in our dark sight. We gathered to sit in a circle around the corpse, stoking a cook fire, eating a rabbit. Do you think it will rise? Warmbite asked. The Reaper stabbed the body with his scythe, and it spurted blood on the bone mason's bonnet.
Yuck.
He apologized, tried to wipe it off her face. She bit his finger. I think I like her.
What? What?
I feel old memories.
Old granny be
the
biting?
Reaper said. I feel my childhood again. You should cherish your childhood, the bone mason replied. It is good to feel. I never want to feel again, the Reaper replied.
Damn.
Warmbite kicked the body like it was a sad dog in the kitchen. This land of the dead, he said. Could we find someone who has been there? Could they give us some key to shut its door? I set 2 hot embers over the corpse's eyes. Forever dead, I told them. Forever missed.
So they had like a
Our pact is forged.
goodbye
Our
ceremony
mission
for this person?
is true. We will sneak through death's house, take advantage of its shadow, and learn truths of this land of the dead. We will find a way to keep the coffins closed.
So their goal is to keep people dead instead of
Petey.
coming back?
I miss you. I close my eyes and see you sweetly. I see a skull painted on the wings of a moth. I see an alligator eat that moth. I see a boat eat the alligator. I
What?
see 1,000 fires eat the boat. I see the night eat the fires. And then I see a sculpture. I rip the tongue out of it.
Oh.
I rip the tongue out of everything.
Yuck. Yucky. Okay. That was Sophia. Oh, this is the butcher's cleaver.
Near illegible text scrawled in boy notebook. Author unnamed. Undated.
Okay.
Chisel these words into the inside of your eyelids. We vow to let the sculptor make of us the sculpted.
So he wants to
May
become
we speak with the throats
boss.
of insects and seep into wishes of their many thousand eyes.
Oh God.
The rough tongue of the Moima stone cracks and breaks, and secrets come out. They rush my hearing with heat and promises, and strike a match and stick it inside too. Push its flame to the center of my mind and let it hum of hymns, and the snapping of so many spines, the world just stops. Stops it tick, tick, ticking. The Moima stone licked my mind from within the 3-pack showdown at the Delphine's grave.
3-pack
The
soda.
rock jaw sizzled in sweet black fire with that gore. queen of the primal.
Gar, yeah.
Vanishing on top of her lizard belly.
So Gar
Those fumbling
vanished.
smugglers rummaged through the Delphine's debris looking for guns and gold.
Oh,
But I
smuggler
found
pack
it
from the last
first.
one.
Some ignorant and unblessed call it a relic, trying to sound learned. But us chosen know it as the Moima Stone, for only we can hear its scripture. The stone spoke to me, and I pulled from its mouth a steaming cleaver.
The butcher's cleaver.
The stone told me a place where this prize would become blessed. The bush's den. The temple of meat and flame.
So he wanted to
My
become the butcher.
followers,
So he
demented
found the
and
cleaver.
hungry, didn't believe me.
The demented.
They whispered and clacked and nipped at my ankles, but I showed them. I showed them at the slaughterhouse what I promised. Cleaver held to the sky, the divine lightning crashed down on me, burning those who tried to flee, and I breathed them in and turned them into more fire inside the Moima blade.
What the fuck?
I carried the blazing metal outside, with the true believers kissing my boot prints, and the false believers kissing twice as hard. The inferno unraveled itself as a tornado does. It spread to the soil and trees in search of the land's most precious hidden parts. I will be the edge that pries apart those secrets. When the world's skull splits open, I will not look away. I will drink from it.
That is so strange. So he became... People reveled in him because he got the butcher's cleaver, went to the den, and then he was zapped with some lightning. Interesting. Maybe that's what the token is. The banishment token is the cleaver?
Forestry burn log.
Oh, this is the burnt morsel.
Handwritten. Original. Undated. We didn't have long. We vowed to rage against flame with flame.
Used
We
flame.
exploited chaos. We lacked the discernment of fire, and in its spreading took whatever victories we touched. The corn husks were dry and coarse against my hand. Embers flickered high up in the dark and brooding autumn sky.
Ooh.
Henry scouted for signs of Cherry at the windmill.
Mr. Cherry.
His mask was on, but I could tell he was jealous that he hadn't started this inferno. A true devil's advocate through and through. Henry, I called as he made his way back. Did Cherry leave a note? Anything? He shucked a husk and ran an ear of brown kernels across the wooden tongue of his mask. The corn is full of sleeping fire, and the fire is speaking my mother's name.
Who is
I threw
this
my
that he's
flare
talking
gun
to?
at him. He caught it against his chest. If you keep speaking nonsense like that, I'll kill you with the corn. I snapped his stock in half. Pull yourself together.
What?
We climbed the ladder to the lookout platform. The windmill creaked its hot metal and sounded like a person caught between gears. Across Seven Sisters' estate, dark figures hoisted the banished remains of the butcher atop a pyre and crawled around on all fours, grunting and hopping and biting at each other.
Well, that's the
Then
Seven
the
Sisters.
jackal laugh of a maniac came from behind us.
Oh, shit.
A demented with a pumpkin over his head cackled and rocked back and forth on the top rung of the ladder. The pumpkin was carved with an artistry worthy of Rome. A steamboat dragged to hell. An alligator vomiting rain, insect limbs and mandibles more foul than an imagination can bear, holding a sculpture above an all too familiar barn. We have our message, Henry. I took the pumpkin off the man's head. I know where we need to go.
What?
Henry forced the flare gun into the lunatic's mouth and fired. We sat and watched his eyes burn from the inside out.
What
Shadows
the fuck?
playing against his skull. We sat and watched the devil set loose in the smoke that rose into the sky.
What the fuck? This guy's crazy. So, I mean, obviously this is the Inferno Pact, so, I mean, obviously they want to, their goal is to burn everything. This is the Butcher's Cleaver.
Near illegible text scrawled in boy notebook. Author
Burned.
unnamed.
Burn
Undated.
notebook.
We caught him sniffing around, trapping at our altars. The beast hunter tossed the kid to the ground, all wrapped up pretty in barbed wire.
Oh, shit.
You know what we do with sniffers? I hoisted him onto our new altar. We removed the tool that sniffs.
Oh, God.
We took turns spiking grubs and rat dumpers onto the points of the kid's sharp metal cocoon.
Well,
Why do you think these altars give us gifts? I asked him. He sputtered bile through the tight wire. Because we are ants, I continued, worthless without direction. I grabbed a follower, a false believer, unworthy from the doubt flittering in the pus of their eyes, and tossed him to the ground before stomp, stomp, stomping his skull rotten apple smooth.
what?
How worthless? I asked those who remained. Worthless as the split piglet eaten by worms, they replied.
What the fuck?
I brought out their favorite object, the split piglet, so small and dead, so filled with maggots and feral blood milk. Mosquitoes drank its splendor and flew with fat bellies to feed themselves to beetles hungry in the rafters. Will the sculptor turn us into art? A follower on her knees wanted to know.
You
Brushes and
worshiping
dye
fucking the
strewn
sculptor?
around
That
her
dude's
like a
insane.
true painter. Yes, I told her. I dipped my fingers into the piglet and marked her forehead with the juice. We will gut and slash and slaughter and maul and bite and tear and bash our heads into hollows that heads weren't meant to hollow inside of. We'll scream inside their bodies, a prayer to set us free. They all
What is
chanted.
happening here?
I squeezed the piglet's blessings into the Moima Stone's mouth, all the curds and blisters and red milk gore. It hummed and delivered my intentions. Now, I proclaimed, pressing my shotgun to the kid's face, let's turn you into paint.
So they just killed the kid? The kid is dead now? Chapter 5.
Near illegible text scrawled in bird notebook. Author unnamed, undated. The spiral stairs were draped with bird bones. Feathers fluttered and fell with the stink of egg rot and oil. My pig heart felt cradled by mantises, my face on their faces as they feasted and became holy into hog blood. At the top, I found a scrapper's roost, and two of them stooped there. They wore their target's beak over their faces. Morrigan
Oh,
and
Morgan and Midian.
two tall lovebirds, side by side, strapped with trash.
Because they wanted to
totems,
become...
offerings. In their hands, one wingless crow, tired and bleeding. I held out a squirming piglet, kissed its freshly sewn shut eyes. I squeezed tight and it squealed, hailing my lord of meat and flame.
Yuck.
I leaned over its snout and bit its tongue and ripped it out, teeth smooth. The scrappers held out their fat crow, and I fed the bird the squealer's tongue, and our bond was forged forever.
What the fuck?
Stagnant, the left one said. We're stuck, the right one said, petting the bird. Who blocks the sculptor's wishes? I asked them. There's a wounded bird out there, said one, the old leader of the hunt.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He gobbles our prayers, spoke the other. All of them. Finch, I said, and the scrappers screeched and shivered their feathers loose. Finch, they agreed. False bird, false leader. He blocks us from the pathways our Scrapbeak uses.
It is Scrapbeak.
I nodded. He used to lead us all fair and true.
No, it's not Scrapbeak.
I admired him. Now he clips our wings. He hobbles our ankles and pigs, they replied.
Who is
Wah,
Finch?
wah, spittle, mwah, mwah, went my little piglet. Crew, crew, caw, caw, went the crow. We placed our pets in a rift nest and watched the embers swirl. We shushed them to sleep. We sealed them away.
What the fuck?
We knew when Finch bled his last that they would carry our wishes to our Lord on his chittering throne, and the pathways would be cleared.
Who is Finch? That's all I want to know is who is Finch? The Burnt Marshal.
Forestry burn log. Handwritten original. Undated. Infernals entered the barn one by one, singed and stinking. The fires outside had spread on the wind. The heat had purpose and weight.
I mean, obviously, these
It was
are the people that
oppressive to the
sent.
point of darkening the night. I took the pumpkin from my smock and showed them. This is a message from Cherry. Private Eye came from the corner and inspected the carving.
Private Eye's here.
See these moon phases? She drew her finger along the orange skin. Fort Karmic? And here, the Murmur Stone. Pigs kissing it. Looks like Cherry wants us to lay siege to the slaughterhouse tomorrow.
Wait, is Cherry?
You gather all that from a gourd, Blackcoat asked. We wouldn't have to do this at all if the captain hadn't sunk his boat in the stone. She pointed to him, the Delphine's coward of a captain.
Wait.
He sat on a crate of beetles to keep the lid on as they buzzed with the will to combust.
What?
Bad luck to let a woman speak amongst us, the captain said.
What?
Blackcoat produced a baseball bat from his jacket and swung. He hit the captain in the chest hard enough to fling him into the air. There was applause.
Well,
Henry
wait,
sniffed.
hold up, real quick. Who, the lady's the Private Eye? Who's the captain? Because Private Eye and Blackcoat and Burnt Marshal are here, but who's the captain? I assume the captain is the guy that we can play as now. Hit the captain in the chest hard enough to fling him into the air.
Wait, what the hell is that smell?
And who's
There
Henry?
was a sound of muffled screeching. We looked up to the hole in the ceiling and saw pale, gnarled toes curl over the edge of the roof boards. Above them, Monroe and Kane drooled against the harvest sky.
Monroe and Kane are here.
Then
too?
they dumped a startle hive onto us out of a sack. The bee lady loosed her brood and they poisoned us, killed the fire beetles. We shot open an exit through the barn as the insects exploded. On our escape, I saw a wingless crow riding a piglet's back.
Ooh.
Insanity was in for a season. But I knew that all seasons burn at their end.
All right, chapter 6. So, it looks like Monroe and Kane are just fucking insane people, right? Like, they do not care about anything. They're just insane. Obviously, Kane has a bunch of skulls on his back and Monroe's a prisoner. Yeah, so, okay. But who's the captain they hit, and who the fuck is Henry? Do we know a Henry? Chapter 7. Back to the Burnt Marshal.
Forestry burn log. Handwritten. Original. Undated. If the demented think they know fire, they're wrong. Yorona and I were in clear sight of the slaughterhouse,
air?
and a dozen muzzle flashes winked from the barn roof, the doors, the windows, the piles of rotting swine. We tossed jug after jug of flammables, and each pit of fire was an oasis.
Because their goal was just to
Their
burn them back.
bullets slipped into us. The flames licked them right back out and blew us kisses. We snaked through the fire break and infiltrated the barn under waves of hot lead. There was chaos inside. Naked men with axes. Naked men with pig heads on fire.
What?
I shot blindly into the mess, moved up the stairs and found the murmur stone, enshrined as depicted on the pumpkin, worshipped by pigs. Living ones, dead ones. Men sewed inside sow skins too.
Yuck.
Yorona used a sticky bomb and leveled the shrine. I grabbed the murmur stone,
What is the murmur
then ran
stone?
to the roof. There stood the demented leader, face to face with Jerry. Our infernal founder held firm with the flair of a magician
Okay.
who had just decapitated his audience.
Okay, hold up. Cherry is the leader of the Infernal. Butcher's Cleaver is the leader of the Demented. And the Death Pact is Lorona. No, wait. Lulu. Sophia? Yeah, because this is addressed to Lulu. It's Sophia. Oh, did I fuck up?
Forestry burn log.
I did fuck up.
Handwritten. Original. Undated. If the demented think they know fire, they're wrong.
I'm sorry.
Yorona and I were in clear sight of the slaughterhouse, and a dozen muzzle flashes winked from the barn roof, the doors, the windows, the piles of rotting swine. We tossed jug after jug of flammables, and each pit of fire was an oasis. Their bullets slipped into us. The flames licked them right back out and blew us kisses. We snaked through the fire break and infiltrated the barn under waves of hot lead. There was chaos inside. Naked men with axes. Naked men with pig heads on fire. I shot blindly into the mess, moved up the stairs and found the murmur stone, enshrined as depicted on the pumpkin, worshipped by pigs. Living ones, dead ones. Men sewed inside sow skins too.
Okay, here we go.
Yorona used a sticky bomb and leveled the shrine. I grabbed the murmur stone, then ran to the roof.
Still don't know what the murmur is.
There stood the demented leader, face to face
There's something they
with
worship.
Jerry. Our infernal founder held firm with the flair of a magician who had just decapitated his audience.
Oh, whoa.
Don't you wonder? Jerry spoke to the butcher's cleaver. Why the sculptor let you unleash the inferno, only for us to be healed by it?
Interesting.
The butcher's cleaver roared, not squealed or screamed, but roared. The sound of a stone animal being ripped in two shook the foundations of the compound. Cherry stood petrified before such a miracle. I jumped off the roof and retreated with the murmur stone while the rest of the infernal held off the demented. The murmur stone whispered to me in the woods as we escaped. Just one word. The same one. Over and over again. that only I could hear. Drown.
So the murmur stone
Drown.
must be from the ship.
Drown.
Must be from the ship that crashed, right? I assume it's saying drown, right? Chapter 8. Oh, we're back to Sophia. No, he did die.
Addressed to Lulu Bassett. Translated from Spanish. Written on a page torn from a ship's logbook. We passed the kid floating at the docks, swaddled in pig meat, straw, and pumpkins. Half his face was gone. The water and mud parted like a mouth and swallowed him away. Our search led us to Mama
the
May,
kid fucking died.
tending a new flower that could give us answers.
Oh, Mama May, okay.
In the warehouse with catfish chandeliers, we found a board in a planter propped against a tomato trellis. It had a crooked spine grown from it, a skull, and a half-flesh, half-wooden face that blinked at us. This was wreckage from that cursed steamship, this Delphine.
The wood.
Haunted. Dreaming dead ship dreams. Mama May buried severed fingers in its soil and left us to interrogate. "Give us your name," I commanded. The face spit seawater at me.
Whoa.
The bone mason waddled up to the boardman. She pulled a cracker from her satchel and offered it to the thing. It refused. "Nothing matters," it rasped. "I've sailed winds born from the mouth of death."
Whoa.
The reaper took the cracker for himself. Then he crooked his scythe into a soft spot in the board's skull. "Lulu, did you know wood can scream?
Oh.
It sounds like piss on dry leaves." "Tell us how the ship was hexed, Jellicoe." Warmbite held a work coat, ran his thumb across its name tag. The wood cried. It sounded as pathetic as all men's tears.
And okay.
"There is a dead land underwater," the wood spoke. "I've been there forever. All dead have too. A storm dragged us there. It's ruled by an insect on the moon with a brain among the stars and a body as hollow as air.
What?
I threatened this Jellicoe with a lantern.
Is that the sculptor?
Is this the truth? We brought a monster on board. We fed it the artifact, the holy stone, the
Okay.
god larva.
That is
The
the...
ship absorbed us, paddled through death's mouth, and now death is almost out of the kind of dying you wanted to give. Who knows how to break this stone? Warmbite asked. Mr. Finch, the wood replied, coughing up more seawater.
Finch.
We had the stone on board the ship because of him. Drown, drown, drown. Mama May returned
We
with a
still
cart.
don't know who Finch is.
"Time for your pruning," she said, and transplanted the board. She left to the sound of rain on dry leaves.
Okay. So they had on the boat was brought the murmuration stone. Mr. Finch knows how to break the stone. Mr. Finch is the person who is preventing the Demented from becoming the new boss target.
Addressed to Lulu Bassett. Translated from Spanish. Written on correspondence stock. Elwood Finch, director. We found Finch in a rocking chair at the center of a ruined house.
What?
Ruined paintings hung on the wall, rotted for centuries. A grandfather clock leaned on its side, ticking. "Where have you been?" Warmbite asked. "Killing time." Finch threw a knife at the clock. It didn't stick. The bone mason hurled an axe and smashed the clock face. "I stepped down to search for answers, just like you," he continued. "I spoke with the Delphine's captain. He failed to deliver this murmur stone, and his story is a lie. But he owed me, secured my passage on another ship to the dirty corners of the world.
Interesting. Wait. Hold
You
up. Wait.
run-
Hold up. It's killing time. I stepped down to search for for answers just like you. I spoke to the Delphine's captain, who is the drowned. The captain that's you can play as now. He failed to deliver this Murmurstone. He's looking for the Murmurstone. And his story is a lie, but he owed me. Secured my passage on another ship to the dirty corners of the world.
Way, the Reaper said. I want to discover how to stop this, how it's been stopped before, Finch clarified. I learned that my blood is old. It hails back to a time of cave paintings and the deep, rumbling wells of the earth.
Huh.
Now you lie, I told him. You ran from death. You went to enjoy yourself. Finch stood and bowed. I made mistakes. Perhaps valuing my laugh was the first. The last was to let Cherry set his plans in my absence. The Demented think I'm blocking them from ascension. Some of this grounded pact believe I summoned Rotjaw. Everyone wants me dead, except you. Don't speak so soon, I told him. I will be caught. There is no stopping that. I am in everyone's way.
Oh no.
Then how can you help? It is called sacrifice. I've learned that it is how our association has always won. I know where Cherry is going, how we can make him lose.
Whoa.
He handed me 3 vials of pure and ancient silver, filled with blood. His blood. I'm charging you with my final task, Finch said. There will be one opening. Don't miss.
Interesting. I
did.
instantly missed.
There is a sliver of bullet stuck in my arm from the day you saved me. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's warm. Just wanted you to know, in case I don't come back. I don't think I could ever carry you in any other way. I've etched your name on the vials. You know I never miss.
Why did PD? I thought this was sent to Lulu Bassett. Who's PD? Post-date, maybe? Okay, so real quick. He has a way of... The Finch has a way of... what's it called? Of stopping Mr. Cherry's plan. And also stopping the Ascension. Mr. Cherry is going to talk?
Wax cylinder transcript, sealed with a bird feather, sugar stained. Labeled, A Sinking Man Sang. As one who enjoys the finest thespian pursuits and drama, I want to recount the last moments of a truly beloved friendship. Elwood, I called. You thirsty? A Finch hung from a high beam, wrapped in a rope, cannonballs, vines, and oleander sprigs. Much like a bird that had built a trap of nest around itself.
What?
He nodded. I strapped a glass to my cane and held it up for him to sip. It was just us two. I'd sent the rest to hold a wide perimeter as our ferry drifted out into the water.
What?
I heard you're afraid of clouds. Is that true? He asked me. Pain flared in my leg at the thought, but his inquiry did not warrant a response. He was just trying to hurt my feelings. Finch, I said, let's not strive for cruelty here. I'd much like for this to be as kind a goodbye as goodbyes can be.
He's about to
took
kill
in the
Finch?
scene, smelled the fine autumn flowers that were set in big arrangements of firebush and angel's trumpet. I sat down at a table, set for 2, lit a candle, and began to eat my duck. That's the same dinner we had when you signed on to the organization, he observed. Did you bring the beignets? I pulled a cloth from the top of a basket and blew powdered sugar off them. I guess I am a bit sentimental, I said. Who
So him
knows
and
what's
Finch were
going to happen
friends?
next? And between you and me, sometimes I wonder if I've gone too far. Well, a normal man would just stop, Finch said. Ah, but a normal man doesn't learn magic tricks. I flipped open my revolver, flourished my hand to produce a bullet. I held it to Finch, rubbed it, and it swept off into the air, spun, held still in the breeze before gliding into the chamber. I'd applaud if I could. No need. I spit out the thinnest of thin bones, and it cut my lip. You know, for such a shallow creek, the sinkhole below us is ghastly deep. Strange things moving at the bottom. Finch craned his neck to look. I'll say hello to your friends down there. It's been a pleasure, Elwood. A pleasure beyond all recall, he said. Then I shot the rope.
This doesn't have a date. When did this happen? Did this happen before or after the events of Finch taking the thing? Giving the... Is this the point? Is this the thing? Mr. Cherry.
Wax cylinder transcript sealed with a cicada husk, labeled the storybook.
A cicada husk.
Cleopatra pulled a snake from the moon. She rode it for 40 nights, eating men, soldiers, and children who cried when a breast was pulled from their mouths. The Knights Templar were birthed from an enormous witch enshrined by foundation stones. Napoleon's horse, Marengo, had a rib cage that could split open and eat other horses whole. After Bonaparte burned bridges, the stallion could still canter across the ghosts of them. The Murmurstone is a library for such tales. It can only speak the truth, or so it says. Its presence demarcates a sacred boundary of the sculptor's will and influence, much as the pomerium outlined the border of Rome.
Okay.
It is a force of physics and myth intertwined.
So wait, so the Murmurstone is part of this, is a thing from the sculptor? After Bonaparte burned bridges, the stallion could come across it. Nothing. The Murmurstone is a library for such tales. It can only speak the truth, or so it says. Its presence demarcates a sacred boundary of the sculptor's will and influence. So it is part of the sculptor.
Emperors have been driven mad with its promises. The Murmurstone seems primed to tell the tales of women and men, but these are not the histories I am interested in. I seek epics never scribed by person kind and the knowledge hidden in them. I wish to hear of the nameless silver scarab Goliath, who pulped insectoid maidens into mercury at the first stage of the sculptor. There are fables of worms endlessly burrowing across desolate lands, sludging in unison, charting pathways and inscribing memories for a mind too big to shroud a single sky.
I'm so confused.
Still, the story I want to hear most eludes the Murmurstone's mouth. I think it is because the question I ask is the question of a child. It is not what the sculptor wants, but why.
Why the sculptor wants it. So he just wants answers about why the sculptor is doing what the sculptor is doing. Chapter 11, chapter 12. Mr. Cherry again.
Wax cylinder transcript sealed with a cicada husk, labeled silver milk. I shall reenact our reconnaissance to make note of the Demented's care in their rituals. If you're not worried, why are we scouting them so close? Private Eye asked me. We laid atop a berm, watching a trio of Dementeds surround an altar. They placed a dismembered body in the mouth of it. Curious were the ornaments and decorations that covered the remains. Their attempts to divine wishes from their lord were desperate. more intense after losing the Murmur Stone.
Okay.
Candice,
Because obviously they
did
still
you ever
want to become a
travel to
thing.
the city of Bath? I asked. Once, she looked uneasy. The Roman bathing pools in Bath were used to heat a unique kind of quicksilver, I said. This was used to feed abominations bonded with the sculptor.
What?
They used them to summon calamities, overthrow empires. Sounds like conspiracy and hearsay, she muttered, adjusting her scope. Unless the mercury was explosive. There was a sound these creatures made. The sound of continents halving in two. It was a siren, a call to mark the end of an age. I've heard this sound now. I want to see if it is truly time for such a thing to transpire. The trio knelt. A scarecrow rose from a stack of hay by the altar as if freshly given life. It
What?
moved stiff-legged and dry and slit two of the hunters' throats. The butcher's cleaver emerged from a shadow.
Whoa, where? Hold up. Okay, so there was a bunch of demented, and the fucking butcher and the scarecrow rose. Hold on. Just a trio of demented. They don't say which demented they are. Okay.
Ground trembled.
So then Scarecrow came out and is working with the butcher's cleaver.
The butcher's cleaver placed the third kneeler inside the altar, and they burst into a pillar of flame and smoke. Far below us, in the land of the dead, I could feel a gurgling, a response. Something was being digested to make room for something new.
Weird. It's chapter 13. Oh, Mr. Cherry again?
Wax cylinder transcript, sealed with shred of tattered flag, labeled the last bird to be crushed. I am free to do as I please. I enjoy recording these little plays, the games and clever moves we each make. Finch is drowned, his blood sealed inside his body at the bottom of the blackest of black water.
Okay. Hold up. So Cherry knew about Finch's blood. So Cherry put Finch at the bottom of the ocean where his blood couldn't escape. He drowned him. He did not kill him. Well, I mean, with like any kind of blood. He didn't break his skin.
No one but he possessed the qualities needed to banish the Murmur Stone. In a long line of revenges,
Because
balance.
because Mr. Cherry doesn't want to banish the Murmurstone, he wants the Murmurstone to tell him why the sculptor is doing what he's doing.
Perfectly upon the last blade sharp segment. The Bird Marshal and Hawkshaw Jack heaved on one rope. The Delphine's captain and his new crew pulled on another. The rift at their feet glowed red, resisting their attempts to retrieve the object. Pull harder, I told them. This shouldn't take all day. Tell you what, boss, Jack said, dropping his rope.
Hawkshaw Jack.
You tell us why you carry around that goddamn cane, and we'll pull the shackles out faster. They paused their yanking to hear my response. When I was a boy, a cloud tried to kill me. How? The captain asked. How insolent children are best punished, one at a time. I lunged my cane through the captain's eyeball and flipped it to the back of his skull. He dropped, and I stepped on him as daintily as a lover steps on a jacket laid over a puddle. The rift swallowed his dead body. Anything can kill you if it has will and agency, I told the rest. Now, pull those ropes.
Whoa, he fucking killed the captain? Captain's not named, by the way, so I assume that it's somebody we don't know.
They hoisted Rothschild shackles from the rift, but I did not watch. Instead, I looked to the late November sky and its crimson burning. I hope the sculptor was watching. I hoped it had 1,000 eyes waiting to be stabbed.
Damn. Shit. Okay, so they have Rotjaw now, but they don't have the Murmur Stone. Who has the Murmur Stone? Or didn't Burnt Marshall escape with the Murmur Stone?
Wax cylinder transcript, sealed with a ticket, labeled mise en scène.
So wait, hold up. The Demented are trying to get the Murmur Stone back, but also to kill Mr. Finch. The Murmur Stone got stolen by the Infernal. Who is Mr. Cherry, who just wants to find out why the sculptor is doing what he's doing. So he stole the Murmur Stone. And now have killed Rotjaw.
Eventually, we made sense of the captain's map. I knew when we stepped on the banks and discovered the remains of a bloodied circus.
Wait, hold on.
Wax cylinder transcript, sealed with shred of tattered flag,
Oh, wait, did I do
labeled
this?
the last bird to be crushed.
Yeah, I did this one already. 13, 14.
Wax cylinder transcript, sealed with a ticket, labeled mise en scène. Eventually, we made sense of the captain's map. I knew when we stepped on the banks and discovered the remains of a bloodied circus tent. Downriver, we found it. The site of the Delphine's disappearance. Or rather, traversal. It takes great sacrifice to travel to the land of the dead. My first trip there was an accident. The city burned. The flames were spread by entities of infernal sensibility. When they burned through a person, their shadows forged pathways.
What?
And so I secured passage to the land of the dead by walking on the ashes of 100 merchants. My second traversal to locate the Murmur Stone on the Delphine was
So he
not
had to
so kind.
die to go get the Murmur Stone?
A live body is too resonant to traverse a rift by normal means. It must be cut into pieces, bit by bit, and sieved down into the dead world's waters. I will not relive such shame again.
Are you kidding me? Oh, man.
Wax cylinder transcript.
Sorry.
Sealed with a ticket, labeled mise en scène. Eventually, we made sense of the captain's map. I knew when we stepped on the banks and discovered the remains of a bloodied circus tent. Downriver, we found it. The site of the Delphine's disappearance. Or rather, traversal. It takes great sacrifice to travel to the land of the dead. My first trip there was an accident. The city burned. The flames were spread by entities of infernal sensibility. When they burned through a person, their shadows forged pathways. And so I secured passage to the land of the dead by walking on the ashes of 100 merchants. My second traversal to locate the Murmur Stone on the Delphine was not so kind.
Not so kind.
A live body is too resonant to traverse a rift by normal means. It must be cut into pieces, bit by bit, and sieved down into the dead world's waters. I will not relive such shame again. Much was learned from my manipulations to pull the Murmurstone back to the bayou. Most importantly, symbols carry weight. Souls do not just disappear, they stick. They haunt and howl to fulfill old promises. This means souls can be baited, misdirected, their energies utilized and bastardized. The Delphine's debris contains a host of souls trapped within its woodwork and corrosion. we have constructed a stage of its remains to perform our ritual and soften their yearning. A play of sorts must be conducted, each role carefully crafted. Some have taken weeks, some years, some gulfs of time that betray the ever-present eye of the sculptor. To be a member of the audience for this magic show, to see how decayed the rabbit pulled from my hat will be.
Okay, I literally have to reread this because I fucking missed it all. Much was learned from the manipulation to pull out the Murmurstone back to the bayou. Most importantly, the symbols carry weight. Souls do not just disappear, they stick. They haunt and howl and fulfill old promises. This means the souls can be baited, misdirected, their energies utilized and bastardized. So his plan was to use souls? The Murmurstone is using the soul? He used his soul to get the Murmurstone back? The Delphine's debris contain a host of souls trapped within its woodwork and corrosion. We've constructed a stage on its remain to perform our ritual and siphon their yearning. So they're using the boat's broken body. Because the boat had a soul. The wood spoke. A play of sorts can be conducted, each role carefully crafted. Some have taken weeks, some years, some gulf the time to betray the ever-present eye of the sculptors. Oh, to be a member of the audience of this magic show. See how decayed the rabbit pulled from my hat will be. Last one, Mr. Cherry.
Wax cylinder transcript, sealed with a silver vial, labeled Echoes of a Bird.
Silver vial.
The stage was set. Blackcoat played the role of Finch, kindly strung up from a branch. Private Eye played the steamboat captain, spinning a helm nailed to a tree. Devil's Advocate was dying to play the part of Rotjaw, so I let him roam in circles on all fours with his makeshift gator mask.
What?
With the symbology complete, I activated the shackles and shoved the Murmurstone inside. It was instant, nonviolent. A permanent passageway to the land of the dead was forged. The soul of the navigator existed inside the Delphine's remnants, longing for dead waters. The soul of Finch yearned for the Murmurstone, as Rotjaw sought her master as well. These feelings were fueling ley lines. They were so easily baited, molded into spiritual architecture. Then the Death Pact ambushed my achievement.
Whoa.
They could have only learned of this site from Finch. Beetles choked the high ground. Wormbite sniped everyone on deck. The Reaper found many soft spots on necks with his scythe. Everywhere that bone mason aimed put a hole in someone.
Oh, shit.
Sophia rose from the creek flotsam, dripping, her skull face looming behind a crossbow. I'm not a coward. I must have sensed a miracle about to unfold because I ducked, and her bolt flew and met the gateway. The silver of its casing should have been stopped by the physics at play.
No way.
Its metal must have been cursed, blessed, enchanted. I do not know. Because it punctured the veil and splattered red against the Murmurstone's mouth with the bright speckled red of Finch's blood.
Whoa, wait.
All I wanted was an easy-to-trod pathway, a personal back door. But even doors can be corrupted, it seems. The Murmurstone screamed wide, vanished, and its connection to the sculptor multiplied as eyes do in the facets of a stolen diamond.
What?
Dead arms flushed from a chasm that split the shackles, the stage, the very ground itself. The arms recognized me. Bloated eyes knew my name. I smelled sulfur, steaming from the Delphine's captain as his spine emerged and bent at sharp angles, his hand grasping for my cane. The clarion call of a new age rang out. Its name was Desolation.
Yo! That means the fucking captain was killed by Does he have one eye? I mean, one of his eyes is out, but... Now, who is Henry? Headsman. Lafayette. This is, yep, Scarecrow. Was beaten and stuffed into a scarecrow's outfit and left bound in a field. When he witnesses assailants become painstakingly corrupted, ripping each other to shreds, believing in unholy justice, he vowed himself to the sculptor's will. Nope. Nope. Marshall Calm, not talked about. Wormbite was talked about. Nope. 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 Private Eye was talked about. It's Candace. Hawkshot Jack was talked about. That's Eddie. Frisk. The kid, he's dead. He was killed. He escaped death the first time round. Sophia. So this is Sophia, who was the one who is writing or reading. Sophia's family was, she has visions. Her family was murdered by strangers, blinded by an inevitable pack. She was the one that missed. Or did she miss or did she not miss? I don't know what she was. Is she supposed to hit the sculptor or the sculptor's item? Mary, Theodore, William, John Robertson. He never wanted to do the remarkable, be a hero or feeling that to die one. In the end, he failed at both, unceremoniously shot in the heart during a poker game. Okay. Oops. Archaeologist, no name. Obviously, Phoebe. Thomas. Lorona. Gus. Jason. Reverend. Nadia. William. That's the black coat. We talked about black coat. No name. No name. Bennett. Henry. Henry is Devil's Advocate. Got it. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, I still want to play it, so. Just doing a thing real quick. Oops. What happened? Why is this broken? Let's just go back. Okay.